Are they people?
Corporations are people, my friend.
Why, thank you for that, you dapper stranger. If only there was some way to prove that corporations were not people. Show their inability to love. To show that they lack awareness of their own mortality. To see what they do when you walk in on them masturbating. Are they embarrassed? Or, like our non-human ape cousins, do they just keep plugging away? While eerily maintaining eye contact. Seriously, dude, I was just on my way to the reptile house. They are oddly human, I have to say. One way to distinguish corporations from people would be to show that they don't suffer the same consequences for their actions that we mere mortals may. For instance, let's say you or I knowingly sold, say, 700,000 bad mortgages. let's say we knew it, but we still dumped that shit on us. What would happen to us? Probably not this.
Bank of America says it will pay Freddie $404 million.
Settling claims related to a decade's worth of bad mortgage loans it sold to Freddie Mac.
I'm sorry I committed systemic fraud for 10 years. How about I give you a cut of it? Because in corporate America, there is a simple credo that exists to cover up any wrongdoing.
That's what the money is for!
That's what the money is for! It's that old saying, don't do the crime if you can't pay the nominal fine.
UBS has agreed to pay about $50 million to settle charges it misled investors.
Goldman Sachs has with the SEC. They have actually settled a case for $550 million. It's been called the largest settlement ever between the federal government and a corporation. The Justice Department and J.P. Morgan Chase are expected to sign a $13 billion deal.
Oh, $13 billion? I know what you're thinking, $13 billion. That's like making John Carter 52 times. How's J.P. Morgan ever going to come up with that kind of scratch?
J.P. Morgan Chase earned over $20 billion last year, so the $13 billion is affordable for them.
Was that dude staring at you guys too? So let me see if I get this. Let me do the math. It's costing them 52 John Carters, but they earned enough to make 80 John Carters. Oh, money was so much easier to comprehend before we moved to a John Carter-based financial system. Here's another marker that distinguishes people from corporations.
Under the terms of the settlement, UBS did not admit any wrongdoing.
Goldman admitted no wrongdoing in the process.
J.P. Morgan, I'm told, will not admit wrongdoing per se.
Oh. So if you didn't do anything wrong, per se, is the $13 billion a gift? A down payment? A tip? Hey, I didn't do anything wrong, but let me tell you, you're a hell of a government there. Here's a little something. Here's a little something. Hey, nice fraud case. Now go home and get you a shine bar. And just in case you think this only works for financial corporations, it doesn't.
Healthcare manufacturer Johnson & Johnson will pay more than $2 billion to settle civil and criminal allegations.
I expect this from you, Johnson, but not you, Johnson. Actually, to be honest with you, I have not trusted Johnson & Johnson since I tried to stop my child's crying by pouring a bottle of their patented No More Tears shampoo in his eyes. Did not work at all. There were still tears after I poured it in there. In fact, this may have exacerbated the situation. What complex corporate scheme did they pull that allows them to escape full prosecution?
They bribed doctors and pharmacies. They got them to prescribe some of their drugs, particularly to the elderly, children, and the disabled, despite health risks or a lack of scientific evidence showing any health benefits for patients.
Holy They knowingly bribed doctors to give useless drugs to old people, the disabled, and babies. You're not even allowed to do that in Grand Theft Auto. You know, I have a question.
The question is anybody going to jail?
That was the question! We have more prisoners than any other country in the world, not even per capita, just more. So will any of the people who make up these corporations be joining them?
Some economists say bank executives should be in handcuffs.
Why isn't somebody going to jail? All I can say is that it is now in the hands of federal prosecutors.
Is it possible somebody could go to jail?
Yes.
It's possible. It's also possible I'll resign tomorrow to pursue my real passion, rhythmic gymnastics. But am I gonna? No. So now the definitive proof. Corporations can commit fraud, money laundering, bribe-enabled placebo baby drugging, and merely pay back a portion of their ill-gotten gains as the price of doing business. How do people fare?
3 students put in handcuffs, all because they would not leave their school bus stop.
We were just waiting for our bus, and he started arresting us.
Yeah, those kids. We'll be right back.